Well, this is Andrew with Drake Custom Bass, and today's project that I'm just getting started on is a kind of a build, so to speak. It's not completely, obviously, because I have a neck to work with, but the customer has sent me his Warwick unlined fretless neck, and he would like me to make a new body for it, and we've chosen this Wolfgang type shape that we're going to use. That'll be just fine. He wants me to put lines into the neck, and the unfortunate thing is that yeah, I can measure, but there's just really no way to get them perfectly where they need to go. I know with line fretless it's more of a suggestion, but I would prefer to have actual fret slots that I can put veneer into. So I think what we're going to do, and I've done this a few times before, I'm going to remove the nut. We have an angled back headstock, which is all going to work out fine. And what I'm going to do is plane on the joiner. I'm just going to plane down the fingerboard here to remove all but just the finest of little slices of ebony will be left. I won't get into the truss rod or anything like that. This will just be right down to right where the actual neck would, just a little bit above it. There'll be a black line. It'll just be basically what you see under the dots. That's what will be left. And then I have another ebony board that I'm going to slot, and I'm just going to laminate that right on top of there, and it will blend in. You won't be able to see it. It'll turn out lovely, and in that I will put some maple veneer, and then I'll finish everything. And then for the body, we're not using MDF. I know, surprise, surprise. But what I have for this body, for this project, is, get it out of his drawer, some nice black limba. And it's got some nice striping and things like that. So that's what we're going to use for the actual body. So stand by, stay tuned, watch this one come together. Okay, we're back on the Warwick build today. I just received the preamp and harness. I have wired these myself. I usually have a wiring tech that does a lot of this type of work for me, but in this particular case, I just went ahead and purchased a pre-wired harness from Fat Bass Tone. I don't have like an endorsement or anything with them, but I often buy components from them, and they offer a service that I'm absolutely ecstatic about. The pre-wired harness is whether it be a passive, just a volume tone, or a volume blend tone for a P bass or a jazz bass or something like that. I'm really impressed with the harnesses I've gotten. The work is very, very cleanly done, well thought out. The pots and components are exactly what I would normally use it's what I stock for repairs and when I wire a harness myself. And the price is really, really hard to beat. So in this case, I just pretty much went on their website and I found, this is exactly the setup that we need. So I just went ahead and ordered one, and they included an extra battery clip so that we can wire this 18 volt if we wanted to. For this order, it's going to be a 9 volt. The other thing they also include with every one of these, which is really, really handy for people who aren't, adept at reading schematics and everything. This is a very, very clearly marked out schematic. And what I do is whenever I use one of these harnesses in my custom order bases, I'll go ahead and put this in with the case candy to send to the client so they have this, because this is very useful for troubleshooting repairs and things like that. So what we're going to do today is drill out these controls, and then I have to route the cavity in the back. But I didn't want to do that until I actually had this in hand so I could see what type of space I need. So we're going to do that right now. Okay, I've spent an awful lot of time sanding. I've gone through all the grits down to 600 grit. I've wet it with a mixture of 50% denatured alcohol, 50% water to pop the grain. Some of the deep scratches from the sanding abrasives really pop out. And then I just, every time I come back, let it dry off, and then I come back and I go a finer grit until it's now well prepared. The scratches are gone, all that. So what I'm doing here is mixing up a little marine epoxy. I'm going to thin it down a little bit, just a touch, with denatured alcohol. This will make it a little bit more brushable. And this is going to penetrate into the wood, but not really build on the surface. I'm just going to wet. I'm not trying to build up a plastic coating. Just let it get in and harden the wood a bit. When that cures, I'll sand that back, and then it'll leave just enough wood where I can put the oil wax finish on. Well, we got our coat of sealer on, and I'm also building up coats of thin super glue on the fingerboard, and I will sand these back and apply another coat and shine it up a little bit. I'm not trying to build it up too thick. I just want my white lines to be sealed so they don't get stained, turn dark. Yeah, coming along. All right, here I'm just scuff sanding 600 grit. Just taking off any raised grain from the epoxy. Okay, it's that time of the video where I go to apply some finish. I'm using today Osmo Polyx oil. It's a hard wax oil. And this is the clear gloss. And we're going to go ahead and apply one very light coat to the neck. congratulations if you've made it this far in the video. As you might have seen a few seconds ago, I was testing the instrument out, making sure everything's working. Everything is. It's set up beautifully. You can't go really off my little amp out here in the shop. It's kind of a battery powered piece of junk. It's not grounded and noisy, but this thing does sound rather amazing. I think the client's going to be thrilled. I'll cover some specs here. I'll start down at the headstock. Of course, we had the Warwick neck sent to us by the client. It was just the neck. There was no truss rod cover. I did find an unmarked or unlabeled Warwick style cover, and it fit the same hole pattern, dropped right on there. These are Hipshot USA tuners, the Y keys. I really love these. We have a Just-A-Nut. There was one on here, but a little tab broke off, so I had to buy another one, and I installed that. And this one's superior to the old one that it had. Ebony fingerboard, and you probably see in the video, if it didn't get edited out, where I coated that with CA glue. And we have lumen lay side dot markers. They glow blue in low light, and of course the white lines are some kind of it's a wood that's been dyed white or bleached white, I guess. And yeah, you can see that they really stand out. I made it so if I ever have to, I can saw these out and install frets. I end up doing that a lot. Well, I'm so glad we used this black limba. It's worked so well, especially with the Warwick neck and how many Warwick basses use these exotic woods for bodies. The tone's great. The weight is perfect. It's got a nice wild look to it, kind of a color tone that I don't have with mahogany, and I don't have with walnut and things like that. So this is a nice change. We used Aguilar PJ pickups. It's a 60s whine for the P, and we have the hum canceling jazz pickup. We have a Hipshot A-style bridge. We use 19mm spacing, and the controls are volume, blend, mid, and bass treble stack. This is a Aguilar OBP preamp, OBP3 preamp. So the volume has a push-pull active passive. The blend is a blend. This is the mid control, and it has a mid shift. And then, of course, bass treble stack. All right, I'm still just very, very pleased that we used this black limba. It's very, very fitting for this bass. We have a rich light cover that I made, and I integrated the battery compartment into that. I sanded the Warwick neck back to bare wood, and I applied a very, very thin coat of hard wax oil, which gives it this nice, fast, smooth feel. So anyway, that wraps it up. If you've made it this far in the video, please go ahead and crush that like and subscribe button. We appreciate that. And I'll try to get some good pictures of this and put them at the end of this video. Until next time, this is Andrew with Drake Custom Bass, and have a good one.